I'm David from Levika Photography, and today I bring you the Godox V350S for Sony. And and today this video actually goes out to Javi Alvarado, who had some questions about setting this up. So Javi, I will get that here in a little bit, but anyway, let me open this up here. This is what comes in the box. You get the flash right here in this pouch, of course. Here's the flash. And then in the pouch there's also the hot shoe stand, and we can just toss that out of the way. Then you get the battery charger right here, cable for the battery charger, and then all of your warranty info and directions. And the directions on this are actually pretty good, so they're getting better. But anyway, that's the box. So let's just dive into this. Yeah, I absolutely love this flash on my A7R III. I mean, it's like perfectly the right size for it. Usually when I'm shooting with the flash on camera, I don't need a lot of power. So it's just adding a little bit of fill light, especially if I'm shooting events. And most of the time when I'm doing that, I'm shooting it with the flash straight up. Just a quick tip, if you like to bounce off of stuff and you get into an environment where you can't really bounce, pull the card up all the way out, and then put the bounce hood back on the flash, and that will keep all your light going forward but give you really soft fill light. So kind of handy for that. But anyway, what I wanted to show you was the actual head movement. Not only do you have forward, which is 15 degrees down, but you get straight forward, and then you can go all the way vertical, and of course you can go all the way back. So it's the standard movements that all flashes pretty much have. But the nice thing about it is it really folds flat. It doesn't take up much room in your bag at all. Alright, so what's different about the V350S versus the TT350? This is the Olympus version right here. And you know, it's still the same flash basically. You still have the plastic multi-interface hot shoe over here, and then you've got the metal hot shoe on the Olympus versions and Fuji versions. But really, the main thing is the battery. So you can see this body is a little bit bigger. The buttons are shaped slightly different. These are round, these are oval. This one accommodates the two AA batteries, and this one, the V350, now accommodates the lithium-ion battery, which is actually a pretty decent sized battery. So definitely much bigger. And this battery is good for 510 full power flashes, whereas the AA's on the TT350 on this one are only good for 210 flashes. Now you can see the body is bigger, the buttons are a slightly different shape, and the reason why is to accommodate that bigger battery. It needs to be a little taller here versus on this one where it's just a little bit shorter. So that's pretty much the difference. So just to give you an idea of how fast they are, they're both set at 1:1 right now. So if I fire them, that's how much faster it comes back. So that is actually pretty quick. Now, being a guide number of 36, this is half the power of the V860 so just to kind of give you an idea, if you set that gigantic flash on half power, it's the same as this. But anyway, really quick, let's go over the menu system on this. That way you guys know how this thing works. So over here is the mode button, and this does exactly what you think it does. It allows you to go from manual to TTL to multi, and TTL goes from -3 all the way to +3. So +3 stops to -3 stops. And that is close to full power on this flash, just so you know. Usually TTL on the V862 will go to 3 stops, but that's only half power, just so you know. So anyway, if we go to the zoom function, this will allow you to go from auto, which is what it's set on now, to 24 all the way up to 105. Or you can go to auto, or if you want it wider on any setting, it doesn't really matter what it's set on, then you flip out the grid And then the grid will set this to 14 millimeter. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how that works. For this, we are going to go ahead and set that on auto. So we'll leave it right there. Now your sync button turns on high-speed sync. So notice the little icon right here, and you can turn it on or off. That's your high-speed sync. So if you're not getting any flashes above 1/60th, make sure that's turned on. So now your slave function. This is not the slave function that you think it is. Just so you know, the slave function right here does not turn on in TTL. It can only be set up manually. So here we can set this up to S1 or S2, and if we put this on multi, yeah, you can't set it on S1 or S2 either. Now, just so you know, this slave button is only for an optical slave. That is what that's for. That's not actually setting the camera on slave. Or setting the flash on slave. It's just setting the optical trigger on this to actually work. So anyway, let's go ahead and turn that off. Your zoom function, as we went over this button before, if you hold it down, then it turns on your menu. And so I've got standby off right now so it doesn't fall asleep on me. AF assist on, which is kind of useless again on Sony because this is your AF assist beam, but on Sony, this still doesn't work. I'm sure that in a firmware update, this will probably start working at some point. And then we have, let me go back to that, your backlight, which I have set to on. You can have it set to 10 seconds or just turn it off. And then if we go again here, your ID. So if you have interference problems, you can set an ID on here and set the ID on the X Pro if you need to. All right, let's talk about the wireless control mode, the radio control. This is where everybody gets hung up, Javi. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into this. So what you do to get into the radio mode is you take the sync button and you hold it down, and then you hit the press button, and then you get this little blinking icon right here, if you can see that. But anyway, once you have that, then you can roll the dial to whatever it's going to be. Oh, I just lost it. So then you have your flashing radio icon, and then you can roll the dial to whatever you want it to be. So in this case, if this is set on A, you'll see down here, there's a tiny S right here. That S means that this flash is now a slave to this one. So if I hit test, you'll see it automatically went to manual mode because this is set on manual and 1/32 of the power. Now, this has 3 groups. So if I go over here, I can set A, B, C, and I can kind of roll through those A, B, and C. So that means that this flash can either be A, B, or C. And then if I long press the slave button, then I can change my channel from 1 all the way to 16. And then back to 1 again. And we'll leave it on 1 for right now. But that's as this flash being a slave. Now I can also make this flash the master. So let me show you how to do that. So again, you hold down the sync button until that starts flashing. You roll the dial, and then what we're looking for is a little tiny M right here. Once you see the M, that means that this flash is now the master. So I'm going to go ahead and hit set. And now if I hit groups, I can set my flashes group. So if we bring this one into the shot here, I will change this to 16, and you can see that this already changed. So this is controlling this flash as a slave, and you'll see this has a little S right here. So anyway, that is how you control that. Now this can control 3 groups to 16 channels. So from here, I can control the different flashes in master mode. So master means that this one won't flash, but it actually does flash in master. It's just a little tiny flash. And that's actually okay. And it's a very tiny little blip at 1/28. So it's really not going to show up in the shots. I don't know why it pre-fires in master mode, because it doesn't need to. Because if you cover this, and let me just show you the top of that one. you'll see that this one still fires. So why it does that, I have no idea. That's the master mode. And you can set your master on the camera to actually have an exposure as well. So I can sit there and say, I want 1:1 on my master, but I want A to be 1/16. That means that that's exactly what it's going to do. So that is how the radio control mode works on these flashes. So anyway, that is how to use the V350S or TT350S or O or F. Any variations of these, they work exactly the same. They can be masters, they can be slaves, they can be controlled by these, and they can also control other Godox flashes like the V862, the 8200, the 600B, the 600BM, etc., as long as they're Godox flashes with the X controller built into it, it's going to work. So anyway, I hope you guys like this video. If you want to support this channel, please click on the links in the description to purchase these flashes through Amazon. That really helps this channel out and allows me to keep buying more gear to show you guys how to use it. So anyway, I hope you guys have a good day, and subscribe to my channel for more information like this. Leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, but otherwise we'll talk to you guys later. See ya.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me.